My father was a union steward for the CWA in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is not a state that has a lot of unions. And I was, when I worked in Chicago, part of local grocery union 1 in Chicago when I worked for a grocery store as a deliverer, a bagger, and also as a cashier. Not only do the people who we're going to meet and a lot of the people who are out there making the public discussion that have already been talked about that aren't true politically or about the unions themselves are also using the church. I believe it was somebody named Jesus who said that a worker is worth their pay. And Paul repeated this again in Romans. I think it's time for some of us who are in the religious world who follow Jesus Christ to realize that Jesus is more radical than the most revolutionary forces in our country could ever be. There is no moral ambiguity in Scripture, in this book, about those who greedily exploit workers, those who deride the poor, and those who steal for their own financial gain. There is all through this book a condemnation of that as evil, especially when people use their power to give preferential treatment to some who would be paid so much more on the backs of workers. When their greed, exploitation, corruption, and sin contaminates our society, it is time for those in labor to declare them, as Paul did, principalities, powers, and rulers of darkness in this world. We know some by name. Others hide in the shadows at groups that parrot Alex right-to-work laws and bring them to our legislatures for the Chamber of Commerce. But we believe in freedom, and not just a political freedom, but something much greater. Freedom from the shame Bob Corker perpetuates against organizing. Freedom from wage slavery and the shame of debt that powerful forces preach against those of us in our society. These are not acceptable faiths. We need a freedom from unemployment, underemployment, stagnant wages, job insecurity, inadequate health. We are here to proclaim that money and power are not morality. No matter how often our bootlicking politicians preach that line. Truth is freedom, and freedom is the goal of all humans bending toward loving justice, mercy, peace, and God's desire for us as a community. We know that truth is on the side of those who want the best for all of us. The approach is not any different than it's ever been from those who would try to conjure up fear. But truth is more powerful than fear. Truth will proclaim from this valley all the way up to Signal Mountain and Lookout Mountain and anywhere else that there are powerful people that God does not show favoritism. These are immoral actions when workers are not given fair wages. It is no longer time for us to be told by others that morality is only on one side of the fence. A worker deserves their pay. Thanks be to God.